Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Dwarf Fortress and the Brightmines. I am Sir Tristan. Let's continue talking about food and drink and all the things that make dwarves merry. So at the end of the last episode, really all of the last episode, we were talking about setting up some farms. And we have two farms here, one that's been built and one that is currently making plum helmets, and another that still needs to be built. And these farms, if you recall, are going to constantly supply us with plump helmets, which is perfect. We have a cycle of food now that's more or less going to cover every dwarf in our fortress. So now we need to think about drink. So real quick about drink, dwarves have to have alcohol if they want to survive. And while they can survive off of water, if there is no alcohol, they will hate it and they will get very depressed and they won't work and they will get upset and they'll throw tantrums and all kinds of terrible things. So we don't want that. So what I'm going to do first, I think, is I want to build out a space for a brewery. So I think I'm going to dig that out right here. Remember, as always, if you want to follow what I'm doing, check the bottom left of the screen. I'm going to type hello, and any keys that I'm pressing will appear there, and so you'll be able to see what I'm doing. If I don't mention a key, or I'm moving a bit fast, you can always pause it, or move it a bit, run the video a bit slow, and you can follow what I'm doing that way. So let's press D to mine out a little area. We'll do that, and then maybe don't need much of room for at least one. I guess I'll do something like this, maybe. And I can put it in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I think that's fine. And then we'll dig this down like so. We'll keep it separated. There we go. Let's dig it out real quick. So real fast, in the middle of the last episode, I did not expect it at all, but we had a migrant wave, and I was reading up on migrant waves just to kind of remember what they're all about. So let's go over a few things with migrant waves. So they can't come in the first season right after you start your fort, but they can appear in any season, at the start of any season, anytime after that. The first few seasons are going to have about 2 to 10 on average, followed by waves around the double digits, and then the maximum size ever reported is 77 dwarves at once. And again, this is going to be affected by how well your fort is doing, if your dwarves are happy, if your dwarves are sad, things like that. I believe it's also tied into the wealth of your fortress as well. Each migrant wave often includes domestic animals, pets, livestock. Some can include children. This is the big thing right here, is you need to know that migrant waves are coming. You need to be prepared with food and drink, because if 20 to 30 dwarves show up all of a sudden, you're going to have a big problem feeding them all. I believe there's a way in the Lazy Noob pack to reduce migrant waves. There's definitely a way to do it. I may have to look that up at some point and kind of see where that is, but there is a way to affect migrant waves and how they show up. Anyway, let's jump back over to the game. So now that, who is this? Now that Benji Man, is done carving out a little area, we're going to build ourselves another workshop. And this workshop is going to take seeds, going to take plump helmets. So actually, why don't I actually dig that out so it does become easy. He's going to take plump helmets from our storage, bring them up, and brew them into alcohol. So let's do B for build, W for workshop, and let's find the still. So here it's called a still. It's not called a brewery or anything like that. It's a still. And just like always, it's going to have the 3x3 workshop tile. We're going to press enter. Wait a minute, I didn't get to pick what it's going to be made from. Hit Q to look at, Q to look at it. And press X to cancel. There we go. Okay, so B for build, W for workshop, L for still, and enter. There we go. Let's see. Just like before, I think I want to make it out of wood because we have ample supplies of wood. So there we go. Now we got that unpaused and needs brewing or plant gathering. Okay, so now that we have a migrant wave, let's actually set up who we want to be our brewer and who we want to be our cook. And we'll probably talk about cooking in the next episode, but right now, of our original 7, Romulus is both our brewer and our cook. But those are 2 very important jobs, so we actually want to give this cooking to someone else. So, Romulus, you are our brewer. Congratulations. And we're going to look through our new migrants real quickly to kind of see, will anybody make a really good cook? Okay, so Zazit here at the bottom looks like he's going to make a pretty good cook. And we don't need him for stone detailing or masonry, so we'll take that off. Out of everyone in the 2nd expedition wave, it looks like he's actually going to be the best cook. So I've taken cooking off of Romulus, added it to Zazit, and taken off these stone detailing masonry. We'll hit commit. There we go. So now our only brewer should be Romulus. So he should run over at some point and build our brewing station. Hopefully. Let's see where he's at. Constructing building. Okay, good. Let's press Z. We'll go to him. There he is. No? No job. Oh, did he do it already? No. Where did my still go? B, W, L. Still. Press enter. Go down to maple logs. Press enter. Okay. We'll unpause. And what's happening? Store item in barrel. Okay, well that's not what I wanted you to do. Press Z to go to him. There we go. Oh, he's grabbing peaches, I think. Still not gonna do it. Romulus, what are you doing? Oh, good. Now, okay, now he's doing construct building. So he should be back with some wood in just a moment to construct this building. I've been made a liar. There we go. There we go. You know, that's the thing, right? Was when you don't have direct control over dwarves like you don't in Dwarf Fortress, you just kind of have to give them their jobs and hope that they do them. There we go. So the still is done. Just like when we were actually, you know what I actually want to do real fast is let's set up a stockpile. I'm going to press P. And we're going to set up a wood stockpile. W. And just like we did with stone around the mason's workshop here, we're going to do wood around the carpenter's workshop. I want to bring some of this wood inside just to make it safer. And there's so much out there that they'll just bring in some, and that'll give everybody jobs to do for a little while. So just like beds, and just like thrones and things like that in the carpenter's workshop and the mason's workshop, you have to go to your still, press Q to give it a task, and then press A to add a task. So you can see over here on the right, we have 3 options. Extract from plants, which I probably will get into later, but I don't use that too often usually. Brew drink from plants, which is the vast majority of things that I do with this. And brew drink from fruit. Usually I don't have fruit in my forts, but since we have peach trees, this might be looking into. For now, I'm going to go down and add brew drink from plant, like that. Now he's only going to ever do that once. He's going to run down, he's going to grab a plump helmet or some other plant, usually plump helmets because that's what we have the most of. And he'll just make 1 drink out of that. Now if you can imagine, when you've got a lot of dwarves, 1 drink goes pretty quickly. So there's a few different ways I could solve this. I could just press R, and you can see in the upper right, this job is now on repeat. He will do this forever until he runs out of plants, and then he'll say, hey, I'm out of plants. I gotta stop. You could do that. You could do A, B, over and 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 over until you hit the max, and then just remember every 5 minutes or so to come back and check. But I don't really like that either. So let's cancel all these. We'll leave one remaining. So now I'm going to get into brand new territory that I did not cover at all in the beginner's tutorial that I did last year. I'm going to be covering a DF hack plugin called Workforce. What Workforce does is it basically controls when a dwarf starts repeating a job. And Workforce can get kind of complicated. So I'm going to show you the basics, and we'll be revisiting this a lot over the course of this series. So let's go down. First of all, there's a few things we have to do. Let's go to the Lazy Noob Pack. Go to DF hack. And the first thing you have to do is make sure that Workflow is selected and highlighted as green. If it's not, you just left click on it and it will be green. So that doesn't start it up automatically. It will start it up if you haven't launched Dwarf Fortress yet. If you have, once you've set this to green, you have to go down to the Dwarf Fortress window here and type in enable workflow. And you won't get any feedback if it's enabled, right? But it will not throw you an error, basically. Like if you type in enable workflow and you spell it wrong, oh, look at that, no such plugin or EULA script workflow. So you do enable workflow and it will turn it on. So now we're still at the still. Let's press R to set this as a repeating time. No, let's not do that. Let's just leave it just like this. And then if we hold Alt and hit W, a brand new menu that if you've played Dwarf Fortress before and not used DF hack may look kind of new to you. And you can see right in the middle there, look at that. Workflow only tracks repeating jobs. Press Y to make this one repeat. Right, so you have to set the job to repeat. So we'll press R. In the upper right corner, it says repeat now. We'll hold Alt, we'll hit W. Cool. So this is a big blank window. What do you do? So in the bottom right corner, you see all your commands. And the first thing we want to do is we want to add a limit. And now this menu here in the middle that just popped up is context sensitive, depending on which workshop you're looking at. So let me back up. I'll go up to here. I'll go up to the carpenter workshop. I'll add a task to build a bed, AB. I'll hit R to make it repeat, and hold Alt and hit W. Now when I hit Shift A to add limit, look, now it's talking about beds, whereas before it was talking about drinks. All right, so we'll cancel that. Go back down to the still. And press, we already have brew drink from plant. On repeat, we'll hold Alt and hit W. And remember, if this screen is not coming up, it means workflow for DF hack has not been turned on. You may need to exit the game, make sure that workflow is selected in the Lazy Noob Pack, and then try launching as well. And then again, you can always do enable workflow in the command prompt here. But I've got this. I'm going to hold Shift and hit A to add a limit. And we want not seeds of any material, because seeds is not what we care about. This would be like if I have X amount of seeds, make drinks, right? What I actually care about is how many drinks I have in general. So I'm going to go to drinks of any material, press enter. And then in the upper right corner, we now have a workflow constraint. So basically what this will do is this will say, okay, I will basically constantly check and I will see how many drinks are in the system. If the drink ever goes below what you want, if the drink count ever let me try that again. If the drink count ever goes below what you specify here, I will return on, or I will unsuspend the make drinks job. So how you do this is at the bottom right, there's a count items. Hold Shift, press I. You can change that to either count stacks or count items, right? So for here, it's actual specific items because drinks don't really stack in the normal way. So range is another option. We'll hold Shift and hit R. And here's where we'd actually enter the constraints. So I want Romulus to make drinks anytime we fall below 10. but I don't want him to make too many. I don't want him to sit there and just turn every single plump helmet we have into drinks. So every time we're at 30 or more, we can stop making drinks. Press enter. And so now you can see upper right corner, anytime there's below 10, he'll start. Anytime there's above 30, he'll stop. So now I no longer have to babysit making drinks. The only time I have to babysit making drinks is when he can't keep up with the drink drain, basically. When there's too many drinks to where he's constantly below 10 and he's basically making drinks nonstop. That's when I need to come back and I need to say, okay, I probably need to add a second brewer and a second still. Also in the upper right, you can see there's one drink in stock. That's actually not right. I should have more than that. Chances are, because I don't have a manager telling me exactly how many drinks I have, and we'll go look at that right after this. This is going to say 1 because I don't know the specific count. So I'll need to set up a manager to know the specific counts so that this actually works correctly. But this will tell you how many we actually have in the system. There's a few other options down here in the bottom right to adjust like the min by 10 or the max by 10. But you can also just use the range, just like I did, to set them up. And then if I hit status, you can see it down there, Shift S. Status, so this will only tell you, this screen will only tell you workflow constraints for what we've set up right now. Shift S will show you workflow constraints for every item in your whole fort. And you can also adjust them from this screen. I'm not going to bother doing that right now. We have 1 in stock. Our upper limit is 30. So now when we unpause, I'll tell you what, let's actually go, just for the purpose of this, let's go back to Dwarf Fortress. We'll go to Romanulus and we will turn off all of his labors. So all he will do is focus on making drinks. And then when he can't, he'll just hang out and have party. We'll commit that. So now, we've unpaused. This is brew drink from plant. Romanulus should be, once he's done storing this item in the stockpile, yeah, he's moving wood to the new stockpile that we created. Good, so he should be running down here now. There he is right there, going to the stairs. He should come down here, grab a plump helmet. Yes, make a drink. Very cool, that's what he's doing. Is he in there? He is. He is. A means it's the action is happening right now. Oh, I haven't paused. I was waiting for him to get done. There he is. He's making it. He's making it. Come on. There you go. First one is done. He's actually moved a few here, it looks like, which is cool. So he's probably getting the, oh, what's he got there? That doesn't look like a plump helmet. What do you got, buddy? Let's go to I for inventory. What are you holding on to? Oh, he is moving plump helmets. Okay, I just didn't recognize that pink graphic there as plump helmets. All right, so now when we hit Alt W, actually let's hit Q, mouse over this, then Alt W. So now, oh, he actually got to 18. There you go. So now this number has updated correctly. I think now it has changed. Cool. So he'll keep doing this until this is at 30 or above, and then he will stop. Now, because we have automated drinks, drinks go in barrels, and we have no automation for barrels. So that's another thing we need to do. Let's hit Q, and we will go down to the carpenter's workshop. He's got construct bed. We're going to add a new task to construct a barrel. Let's go find it in the list using the plus and minus keys. I missed it. Where's barrel? Oh, first page, right there. Make wooden barrel. We're going to set it on repeat, and then we're going to Alt W. We are going to Shift A to add a constraint. We want a barrel made out of any wood. Well, any material, really, because you can make barrels out of metal, and I think you can make barrels out of something else as well. But we don't care about barrels made out of wood only. We want to care about any barrels in the whole game. So right now there are 4 free barrels. This system will not count barrels that are currently in use, right? Because this says 4 right now, and if we go down, Look at that. We obviously have a lot more than 4. So workflow is actually really smart about only counting what is free. So we're going to go down to the barrels. We have to highlight them in the list here. In the upper right, we're going to hold Alt, hit W. And so now we can change how many free barrels we want. So anytime there are less than 5 free barrels, we make barrels. Anytime there's more than 10, we stop making barrels. That's actually a pretty good number, I think. Maybe let's adjust that a little bit. Let's say anything less than 4, make some barrels. Anything more than 8, stop making barrels. Cool. So that means that he will actually not be making barrels right now, because we are above 4. As soon as one barrel gets used, like as soon as Romanulus is filling up barrels and needs more, he'll pick up an empty barrel, use it. We'll drop down to 3 available barrels. Workflow will kick in. He'll make up to 8. Whatever dwarf. Who's our? I'm gonna have to. It's gonna take me a while to memorize these. Who's our carpenter? Coca. Coca will make barrels until there are 8 available in the system, and then he'll stop, and then he will go about his other work. So workflow makes it super. It takes out a lot of tedium. A lot of tedium of constantly going, okay, how's my food? How's my drinks? How's my barrels? How's my bins? How's my this? How's my that? Makes that a lot easier. In the next episode, we'll probably keep talking about this a little bit because there is some more to go over, but I've hit Z to go to status, and I'm going to go over to the right and press enter on kitchen. Enter on kitchen. I'm going to press tab, and tab again to go to drinks. And you can see right here, we have about 20 dwarven wine. We don't know the exact number because we haven't assigned a dwarf to keep track of everything. And I'm probably going to kick that in the next episode because I said this before, I really like my counts to be accurate so I can know exactly, oh man, I've only got 4 swords and I'm about to try to train 20 more militia. I got to make some new swords. So, getting an accurate count on things like, what do I have, like around plus 90 plump helmets? No. Wow, I got like 90 peaches. That's so cool. I love that. Awesome. So yeah, in the next episode, probably what we'll do is we will go over stockpile or stock managing. Stock management, get like an accountant to count everything. And then we will also, I think, maybe go over cooking, which will turn food like plump helmets and wine into actual meals, because a dwarf can eat a plump helmet plain, he can eat a peach plain, and they'll satisfy him. But it's not a meal, it won't make him happy. You know, if you were just to eat a raw piece of meat, you'd probably feel okay about it. If you got that steak, though, with like that gravy and them tart, you know, all the mashed potatoes and all the, you know, that's a meal. You'll feel good after that. So dwarves are going to be the same way. We'll cover that in the next episode. But that's all for now. Thank you guys for joining me. If you want a dwarf named after you, you saw in my dwarf therapist here, I got a lot of dwarves in this second migrant wave, and they need names. So if you want a dwarf named after you, please let me know in the comments down below. I will name a dwarf after you. Get you guys involved in what these dwarves are doing. Cool. If you had a good time with this episode, please hit that like button down below. It gets awfully lonely down there. And not only does it help improve the channel, it helps people, other players who are interested in Dwarf Fortress, interested in learning how to play, find this channel. So it helps out in a few different ways. And that's all I got. Thank you guys again so much for joining me. I'll see you next time.